So for Chelsea, it's simple. A victory against either Wolves or Liverpool will see them qualify for the Champions League next season. For Manchester United, it's a win against West Ham and then avoiding defeat against Leicester City, and then we could go down to the goal differential. It's interesting, isn't it? I think January 31st, Leicester City were 12 points ahead of Manchester United, Stevie. Yet Leicester have been in pretty much free fall, epitomised by another poor display today.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought the shutdown was going to benefit them because they were struggling to get wins, certainly. But when they restarted, they weren't any better. And then you add the injuries they have. I mean, today against Tottenham, you know, they had three of their back four missing. You know, Chilwell, Pereira, and of course Sunshao getting suspended. I mean, they can't afford to have anybody missing. You throw Maddison into that, him not playing, and then you've got young players coming in. So free fall is exactly the word. And you're talking about Chelsea having to try and get something at Wolves and Liverpool. I mean, I can't see how Leicester get anything against Manchester United. So I think it's going to be tough for Leicester to get in the top four.
Shaki, it just feels like Leicester are trying to hold on to a ledge and they just can't get one at the moment.
Yeah, and the fingers started to slip from before the break. And the challenge that I felt coming out of the enforced break is that when you have teams like Leicester and Sheffield United who are, or certainly had been, greater than the sum of their parts, you're not quite sure what you're going to get when you come out the other side of that break. And you've seen both of those teams struggle and be inconsistent. And you feel sorry for Leicester in that circumstance. Don't have the resources to compete with the others around them, yet have done so well to be in the position that they're in. But I'm with Craig and Stevie. As good as the first part of the season has been, and as disappointing as this second bit has been coming out of the break, I think it finishes up in heartbreak for them. I don't see how they stay top four.
Of course, they do face though United on the final day of the season, and given what happens in that match against West Ham, Craig, it could be winner takes all time. Yeah,
and look, the only start that matters is the start. It says, you know, Tottenham 3, Leicester 0. And we've always said that. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. But you look at the actual match stats, and bearing in mind the injuries that Stevie mentioned, and for long periods since the restart, they've really struggled without the full-backs, particularly the right-back. And that's been an issue for them. But, you know, 70% possession with half a team at Tottenham with 24 efforts on goal tells you it wasn't actually a terrible performance going forward. But they got cut open at the back when Tottenham hit them on the counter. So they're going to have to get as many of these players back. But listen, United are not infallible. We've seen that. They've been on a great run, but I think it has papered over some of the cracks. And we saw some of those cracks today, even though they've made changes. It would not be a big surprise if it comes down to the last game of the season if either of those sides took the points, because Leicester are a decent side. They've just hit a problematic period, and it's up to Brendan Rodgers to try and find a way out of it for his squad, and that's going to come down to who's going to be available for him. If they can still go into that last game having a chance to finish in the top four. So we'll see what happens.
And we saw Craig Harry Kane add a couple more goals to put on his show reel for the summer.
Yeah, what can I say? I mean, you know, not a lot of possession in the game, but a couple of goals. Mourinho will roll that out. We know the guy when fit, and he's now getting up to full fitness since the injury problems. We know he's up there with some of the best in the business at sticking it in the back of the net, and people will pay a premium for that. I'm sure some will be sniffing about Daniel. It's whether Mourinho can convince Daniel Levy not to accept any potential bids that come their way. But it has to be hard for Harry Kane not to be having a peek out the window and seeing some of those big clubs and who's going to be looking for him. And he has to be interested. He surely has to be interested in a move away this summer. And I would be surprised if a few bids don't come in for him.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.